Well, hey there, diet disruptors. Carrie here. And once again, I have always said that my favorite kind of podcast is one that I get to do with a person. And I got to meet Jen. I mean, it was like 4 months ago now, Jen?
Yes.
Yeah, four
April.
months
Yeah.
ago. Because at the time that we're recording this, we're towards the middle end of summer-ish, and you're in schools, right? You're a counselor, a school counselor,
Correct. Mhm.
and you were still in the middle of school, and it was like your story, which we'll get into. I just knew from the minute I talked to you that you were going to be a massive success, that you needed this, that you needed to work with us, and I was so excited about it. And it was a hard decision for you, but also timing was like, there's always a reason to not show up. And I just knew if you could do this at the time where school life was kind of the most chaotic, then we were going to teach you how you could show up for yourself, regardless of how chaotic life was. So, are you glad you started when you did?
The timing couldn't have been better. At the time, I didn't think so. But you told me life is going to get in the way, and if you just say yes to this, I promise you, and you did. You said, I promise you that you're going to get through this. We're going to get you through, and that no matter how busy life is, that's what you want. You want to be able to get through this and to be able to learn how to do this when life is chaotic and life is
Hmm.
busy. And
Hmm.
so, I'm so glad that I decided to say yes back in April, because when I got to summer, it was a breeze.
Yes.
um, Really, it was, and I think back to, I started on April 8th, and
Okay.
I've gotten through my 3 months, and now I'm in my kind of I'm cultivating my marriage now in month 4. But for me, it really became, once I was finished with the 3 months, it was like, how can I get more,
Yeah.
and now it's so exciting for me because I really truly felt like I could do it at that point in time when life was chaotic and busy and the end of the school year, and things were going on, and so yeah, I'm glad that I said yes when I did to you.
Yeah. And, I think because so often, and you came to me saying that you had tried all the things, you've done
All the things.
everything. And so we'll
Yes.
talk about, what was going on with you when we first talked. And I got to do my initial call with you, which is so fun
Yes.
because I rarely get to do those calls, but I always say I'm always matched with the woman I should be talking to. And that was so for sure true with you. But, I think with everything that you've ever tried before, it always has to be when life is perfect, when life doesn't have anything else going on. And just think about that mindset. It means we can't do it when life is crazy because we don't believe it's possible. So, no wonder we're always on this crazy roller coaster because the last thing we're doing is being consistent, but we believe there is no other choice. And so is that true for you where it was just like part of why you felt like you couldn't do it while life was crazy is because no diet has ever been designed to do when life is crazy.
Absolutely. And, I kept saying to myself, oh, I'll just wait until school gets out and then I'll just have so much more time. And, summers are busy. Summers are
Yeah,
more busy, I think, sometimes
it's an
than the regular school year.
illusion.
It is. And so, yeah, there's no perfect time. But,
Mm-mm.
with me, I've tried other things, and, with, with, life being as it is and as crazy and chaotic as it is, there really is no perfect time. That
Mm-mm.
was the perfect time for me.
It
And
was. I always say that. Like that is actually the time that you think it's like going to be the most chaotic is actually the best time to do it.
absolutely,
Everything else feels easier
yeah.
after
And I
that.
read a quote the other day that said, people come into your life for two reasons: to either change your life or you change theirs. And you really have changed my life, because had I not met Carrie Lapoli, just searching the web, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Oh,
And
I love that.
it's really changed who I am and how I feel, and all of the things.
Ugh,
So
I love that so much. And it's funny though, because there's women that resonate with me. And before we even started recording, I said to you, there was something about you, and I knew that like I had to be a part of your world. And so I think that there is more for the two of us to impact each other moving forward. So I'm very excited about that. But let's talk about where you were when you saw me, what, like floating around on the Instagram or something, right?
Yes, yes. I think I was just, flipping through, doing my socials and
Yep.
just happened to see and I was like, okay, let me see what this is about. So yeah, so
It takes
I've
a
tried.
lot to actually, though, flip around on social and then to actually get on a phone call. Like, I feel like that's a big bridge to walk across. Was that scary to you, or were you like, no, it's cool, I'll get on a call?
For me, it was like I had been searching and searching for all of the things. So every little, I'm kind of one of those, just like shopping. Sometimes you
Yes.
get, it's like the trap, right? And so
And I do
I didn't.
think there are people that get addicted to the search
Yes,
and and just think I'm doing something if I keep searching, you
right,
know?
right,
So,
right. And so, I was just, I really was. I was kind of just looking for, I feel like the next best thing for me. I was on Weight Watchers at the time, and it
oh,
was like,
that's right. I
okay,
was like, can we not do that?
right, exactly. And I've since learned that, it while it might be a very popular diet, diets don't work. And I've learned that now, right? And so, but um with a diet, there's always something that you're giving up, or that there's something that you're putting in your body because you're taking away other things.
Hmm.
And so I know that now, but no one ever teaches you those things.
Mm-mm.
And until I did disruptive nutrition, I just was never aware, and the doctors, we have this food pyramid. All of us learned this food pyramid when we
We're
were,
still teaching kids the food pyramid
elementary,
too.
middle school, right? And
Yeah.
so, but it doesn't get into why this lifestyle is so important. And it's just turned my life around. And so yes, I was doing Weight Watchers and I had no energy.
Hmm.
I felt like I was broken, really. I had wrist injury, I had hip bursitis, back aches. I was doing a local gym, and it was a boot camp gym. And I was going, 5, 6 days a week, 45 minutes at a time. And I was just overworking my body with eating improper processed foods, is really what it was all
Well,
about
what's
for
so
me.
crazy is that, Jen, first of all, nobody would have ever, quote unquote, looked at you and thought you were unhealthy. You were doing things that healthy people do, and
Sure.
yet you felt like garbage and
Garbage.
were not in a place of confidence and self-awareness, and a lot of confusion. But on the surface, people would have just thought you kind of
Yeah.
were the epitome of this health.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're exactly right. And so, I had to actually end up leaving the boot camp because my body was just so inflamed. And I would sit on the couch every night with Motrin or Tylenol, popping them, ice or heat, or some kind of one of the little guns that
Yeah,
vibrate
the
on your,
little, yeah,
yep,
vibrating
or
things. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or stem, or some kind of something on my hip or my wrist. I was going to physical therapy. I had been to
Isn't
the
it
doctor
amazing how many things you were doing?
I had
And
been
the
to the
whole
doctor
time,
twice for shots in my hip, my bursa sac. Let me tell you, that's so painful. So I was doing all of these things that I hadn't realized. Okay, why am I feeling this way? I think I'm just getting old, right?
right. And because
I
how
had
old are you?
I'm 51. I'm
Yeah.
50. Oh gosh, how old am I now? Yeah. So I was turning 50 at the time,
Yeah.
and I'm 51. And so I was like, okay, maybe this is just how life is, supposed to
Right.
be when I turn this age. And, I literally would just sit some nights and just cry because I was so emotional. I was so sore everywhere. My body hurt. I didn't have any energy to even get off the couch.
And here you
And
are just starting Weight Watchers when I met you again, right?
again, yeah, for
Thinking
the
like,
second time.
okay, this is what I got to do something. And
Yes.
kudos for you for saying I got to do something. But isn't it amazing when you think about how much more you know now and how much
Absolutely.
you knew then in just a few months, how that was the alternative, that was the solution that you thought you needed to do.
Right, right. And like I said, with every diet, I had done Weight Watchers before and I lost weight. But again, what happened was I went off of it, and over time it came back.
And
And
just
then,
because you lost weight on Weight Watchers does not mean you were healthy. I think
no,
that's what
and
people
I
don't get.
that's right, right. It was, and I don't want to talk about a certain program in a bad way, but because some people are on it.
Yeah.
But like I said,
Oh,
you're
I'm
giving
fine with
some,
it. I'm fine
you're
with
giving,
talking
yeah,
about it
yeah. They preach
because
low
I'm here to
sugar, no
disrupt what
sugar.
everybody thinks is that they're supposed to
Right.
be doing. So it's cool with
But it's
me.
all about low sugar, no sugar. And then when you're doing that, you're putting other things in foods that aren't healthy for you. And all of that, I think, compounded my issues of major inflammation
Yep.
and just lack of energy for myself.
Yep.
And I truly, once I started PFC3 and disruptive nutrition, my wrist pain, my hip pain went away. I wasn't sitting on the couch because I had more energy. My sweet cravings went away. I was a sweet lover. And, you'd have the cakes and the cupcakes and the cookies by the coffee machine and at work all the time.
Yeah.
And I would literally hyper focus on that until I got one. And,
Yes.
and now after I did my first month, all that stuff was still there or in the teacher's lounge, and I didn't crave it anymore.
Isn't that
And
amazing? And this is what's so amazing around self-awareness because we don't even realize that you think it's a lack of willpower, which then totally equates to your value, how confident you are, how much self-control you have. When in all
that's right.
reality, your body was on such a blood sugar roller coaster that it was just literally like perseverating on that because physiologically your body was not in balance or homeostasis, and it
That's
really
right.
had so much less to do with your psychology. Is that crazy?
Absolutely. I know. I know. And it's so crazy. And then, I haven't had coffee since April, but I don't miss it.
Wow. and
I
and let's
don't
be
miss it.
clear, it's not because I'm telling you you can't have coffee. Just choosing
Absolutely.
not to.
Yeah, I was, I was putting probably more creamer in the coffee.
I think that's what
And when
happened.
yeah, and so, I don't miss it. It's not that I didn't enjoy it, but it's not something that I miss.
So was it a behavior? So like think
Probably, it
about
was
that,
probably
right?
more, yeah, because everyone in my office drinks it, and so I was the only one that didn't back. And I think too, it was kind of a COVID thing for me when I was working at
Yeah.
home. I was like, oh, well, what can I do? And so I
Yes.
gave it a try, and then I would put more creamer in to make it taste better, and I just it just became a thing for me.
Yep.
Um,
And that's so
and
interesting, right? Like you don't even think about it.
you don't, and I think too, with this new lifestyle too, like brain fog. Oh my
Mm.
goodness. Like I was having so much of that. And now I feel so much better to live out my life
Oh,
in a more healthier lifestyle because I have energy. And now I will say my body feels so much better. I'm strength training. I'm walking 2 to 3 miles every day. And so I'm back doing the things that I was able to do before,
and you're
but
not in pain.
now but now I'm not in pain and I have
That's
way more
amazing.
energy and I'm sleeping better. And it's just, I did this with my mom as well. My
Oh,
mother is 76 years old. She'll be 77 in October. And I talked her into doing this with me. You
oh,
probably
I'm
didn't know
so glad.
this.
I don't even think I knew
Shannon,
that, Jen.
Shannon, my wonderful coach, Shannon Robinson, she knew this, but I thought
I
I would
love
surprise you with this. But my mother, she's 76, and I kind of dragged her into this with
that.
me. And she has done so well. Her clothing sizes have dropped, by several sizes. We were at my brother's 50th birthday a couple weeks ago, and all of his friends that were his high school buddies were like, "Oh my gosh, you look so good." You can just see that she has more energy. She has now joined a gym where she's walking in the pool. Um, she went to the doctor recently, and she's always had a thyroid issue, but she was pre-diabetic because she was,
Like everybody.
not living a healthy lifestyle. And she went, and her A1 numbers were, I mean, and now she's off that medication.
Oh,
Um, And, and the two of us, we bonded over it and it was great. And so she's doing better. I'm doing better. And I'm proof that it works. I really am. And so is she.
Oh, I am gonna cry. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is
Surprise.
that is the best surprise anybody could ever give. And just
Yeah.
think about one of the things that I say a lot is who else benefits from you figuring this out. And I think it's just so wild that a few months ago, I mean, there was a conversation where you were just like, yeah, I think I'm going to hold off. And I can't tell you how many women, if I hear that from, I'm like, oh, they're just not ready. Like they're still in their own way. But you were really coachable. And I think that that moment for me is what really solidified that I knew you were going to be successful because you listened to me and you shifted your own thinking. If you're willing to learn, but also unlearn and be coachable, it's amazing how much you can get out of this. So the fact that you had your own little voice in your head telling you I'm not going to invest in myself. I don't have the time right now. You hearing from me kind of to push your thinking a little bit and doing it, look at what you now have started for I don't know how many people in front of this. That's pretty cool, Jen.
Yeah. And, I will say that, probably some of those takeaways for me is just that, you know, food is not good or bad, right? Serves our body or it serves our soul. And there's nothing off the table for us. But I know in the past, if I would eat that cookie or eat that cupcake or have that sweet, craving, I would feel bad about myself and feel
Mhm.
that guilt. And now I don't feel that. I
And so
know that
you'll still have the cookie, am I right? If you
I
want
will
it.
still have a cookie. Oh yeah, yeah. My son's girlfriend's mother owns one of the most popular cookie in. She just got voted a number one cookie store shop in America by USA Today,
Stop
and
it.
she brings me the cookie of the month. And I don't feel the guilt anymore.
Yep.
And so yeah, I mean, I really because I know every
And you're
three
still not in
hours,
pain.
and I'm not in pain. That's
Isn't
the
that
best
amazing?
part.
That
That's
balance
the
is there.
that is the best part, honestly. And that is one of the biggest takeaways is that I can do this and I know that I'm feeding myself health. I'm getting healthy from the inside out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's and for me, it's just one of those things. And my even my when we talk about body and mind, my mind is just like I said, the brain fog and things that would bother me or get to me in the past, they just don't anymore. Last week our refrigerator went out. We
Yep.
had just gone on a grocery haul the day before.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
grocery shopping these days, isn't the cheapest ever. And
No.
we lost everything. We lost condiments because it was, we hadn't gotten in there because we got home, we put our things away, we left the house. We didn't come back for over 18 hours later. And Bob wakes me up the next day and he's like, I wouldn't wake you if this wasn't important. Well, we lost everything in the fridge and had to
Oh,
throw it all out. But again, in the past, I would have that would have just turned my world upside down. And it didn't. I just said, you know what, we're good. We'll bring up a mini fridge. Bob said we'll bring up a mini fridge from the basement. We've been living out of that for a week, and it's going to
why
be
do you
fixed
think that
today.
is? Like when you really look at why that is, what's your answer?
Life is going to happen, right? And it's how we react, right?
Mhm.
Things are going to happen around us, and we can either bring happiness and fortitude towards it and say, I can get through this and I can do this, or we can just get bent out of shape and be sad and angry, and that doesn't serve anybody. And
Okay, but
so I
wait.
just
You know what's so interesting, Jen? You're a school counselor. I would like bet my dog that you have said those words to kids before. You know those words.
Easy lady.
You weren't able to live those words, but you are now.
I
Why?
am. I don't it's one of those things where I think it's going through this program for me has really just changed my perception on life, really, because I
Mm.
have a why. I have a purpose for why, I believe in this program. And how I feel like it affects my family, and my
Mhm.
family is my number one. And I
Yes.
think, I want to be able to be there for them in the future,
Yep.
long term. And I think, to live angrily and to let things bother you, the way that I think I used to let them, it's just one of those things where I feel like I've learned things throughout this program that helps me with that.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of it's eye opening, and it's exciting to
Yeah.
know I can just keep going,
I
and
love
I'm not
that.
done.
I love that.
Yeah,
As you talk, I think about the fact that when you hear a lot of people say what you're saying, it's often because there was a tragedy of some sort that forced them to have to look at life differently. And I've always said it is such a tragedy that it takes a tragedy before we actually get our life in order. And what I appreciate so much about your willingness to learn and unlearn and be coachable was that you took these 3 months, we call the honeymoon, and came out of it the healthiest version of yourself right now. And it's a journey. You're going to keep going and going and going, but you didn't need that tragedy to snap you into a reality of what's really important. And imagine if we didn't need to rely on that to be able to make the changes that we needed to make. You're just such an
absolutely.
inspiration. So amazing. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
It's
no, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I think too is I've gone through my 3 months, right?
Yep.
And I've learned to, we even manage a stand in the summer. And so,
Ooh.
before I was, doing my PF, PFC3.
BSC3.
Yeah. It's like, sometimes it's a month. Um, you know, I would, you're out there 12 sometimes hours a day. And
Yep.
so I learned this lifestyle was easy because I would pack a cooler every day. And
Mm.
I learned that I could, every 3 hours, I knew that I needed to stop what I was doing, every 3 to 4 hours. And I was able to, pack my food and be prepared. And I did great with it, even out in the heat.
Yeah.
99, degrees out here some days. And, that to me was also a mindset that in the past I would have never had. And now
Yes.
I did, and I was able to kind of live that lifestyle no matter, again, how busy I was, what I was doing, and that you can make it work wherever you're at. I was literally at a fireworks stand out in the middle of nowhere with a Johnny on the spot and a trailer, and I made it work. And you can
Oh,
too. Everyone can.
I love that. And it's that decision to make it work. And there's something to be said for eating every 3 hours, and it's based on hunger and all of that kind of stuff. But my guess is you were
Absolutely.
getting hungry at the 3 hour mark, right? And so
Hmm.
you, instead of battling through hunger, which is what the diet mentality kind of is, right? Like hunger is a badge of honor. This is you saying, hold up, I gotta take care of myself. And it forces this level of unconscious sometimes reflection and awareness that as you do more and more, you're just automatically becoming a person who shows up for herself. And a lot of people don't realize that the act of PFC3 eating every 3 to 4 hours is self care, and it forces you to actually look at things a little bit differently. Take a step back and look around you and notice what's going on around you, what's going on in your body. And over time, now a little over 3 months, it's this thing that inevitably happens that you don't even realize is happening, is this just intrinsic internal awareness of your body and what you need to do to serve it. It's just amazing.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And it's 1% better every day. Being 1% better every single day and showing up for yourself
For the right
and
reasons. What is
for the right
you
reasons. Yeah.
you said that your why is now bigger, right? And it's changed. And so kind of as we leave, I think this would be a really important kind of thing to for people to hear. What would you say your why was when you joined Weight Watchers, say, again, for this time right before I met you? And
Hmm.
then where would you say your why is now?
Yeah. The great question. My why, when I probably started Weight Watchers, was I want to lose weight. And it
Mhm.
was all about how I looked and how, the vanity and the weight loss behind it.
Yeah.
And I would say my why now is more around my health, being able to live longer and be stronger in the future for my kids and my grandkids. And to be able to change that family tree down the road. And it's, when you look at the differences between that why and this why, it's not even comparable.
Because did you lose weight?
On disruptive
Now,
nutrition.
yeah, as we in
Yeah.
these 3 months. So,
Yeah.
so
I
you
have.
still lost weight.
I still lost weight, and I
And
didn't
isn't
get
that
on a
what's
scale
amazing?
to determine it. It was, and the thing is too, I've gained muscle because I'm eating healthy and I'm
You're
feeding
fueling
my
your
body.
body.
I'm feeding, and so all of that exercise and the burn boot camp and things like that, when I was working out in pain, I wasn't necessarily feeding my body properly to be able
Right.
to gain muscle. And
Right.
so, I felt like it was like, on the gerbil wheel.
Yeah. Yeah.
and and now I feel great. It's like I look forward to it every day. I really do.
And yeah, you wake up with this kind of a new strategy for life.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that
Like
amazing?
what
You still got the thing you said you wanted with Weight Watchers, but so much more.
absolutely. And now it's like I wake up and what exercise do I get to do?
Oh, wow. It's just a whole
You
new
know,
way of looking at it.
yeah.
And
And it's
and and then the next step, Jen, is we've been talking about you possibly getting certified to be a coach and to support other people in this journey. And I love what you said at the beginning when you said people come into your come into your world either so that you can impact them or they can impact you. And I think that next step is like paying it forward, right? And giving other people the opportunity to also be able to have their lives transformed because that's really what life is all about, helping people along
absolutely.
the way and not
Yeah,
keeping it within
absolutely.
yourself. Jen, you
Absolutely.
are such a pleasure. I had a little gold star above you from the very beginning. I knew you'd be a great student because
All
you're
those, 100% and stickers on the papers is, you as the old teacher and me as the old teacher, but now a counselor. And yeah, it's been a great journey so far.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I just think it's so much you can impact your students. You're, on top of it all. So you're amazing. We can't wait to see what else happens. I feel like we should get your mother on a podcast.
Yeah.
You might need to
I
drop
would have
that
thought about
seed.
having her here with me today, but
Oh my gosh, that would have been
I
so
wanted to
fun.
I wanted to surprise you. So yeah.
Oh, that was a really amazing surprise. So if you're listening and you can comment, let us know if you want to hear from Jen's mom too. What's your mom's name?
Cindy.
Cindy. All right. Let us know if you want to hear from Cindy because I think I do. I want to meet Cindy. Well, Jen, thank you so much. Please put in the comments what you're taking away from this and how this is inspiring you. And remember, wherever you are on your journey, there's a place for you at Disruptive Nutrition. Let's just figure it out. Bye, Jen.
Bye.